Hi, everyone. My name is Maggie Leonard. Welcome to our Solidarity Snack Time series. I am here with you today to talk about feeling our feelings. So, first of all, I just want to say that there's no such thing as a bad emotion. There's certainly some emotions that we don't like feeling, especially when they are much stronger. But the reality is that all of these emotions help us to live life more fully. They help us to experience life's sweetness and its sorrows. And a part of our work as we grow is to fully feel each one. When we ignore emotions, it actually means that over time we'll end up feeling them a bit more strongly. The way that I like to think about emotions is each time we feel one, it's like a piece of string. So, for instance, maybe you would think about all of your sad emotions as different pieces of blue string. And when we try not to feel our feelings, instead of being neatly processed and wound and put away, they end up getting into a jumble and influencing one another. You might think back to a time when something happened that probably wasn't a very big deal, but it brought you to tears. Chances are there were other things in your life that were making you feel sad or that you were grieving, things that you had not allowed yourself to fully experience and feel, that had been carrying with you for a while, maybe even kind of shoved down deep into your heart. Each time we feel a feeling like sadness, when we have other sadness that's unresolved, it's like grabbing a piece of one of those threads and pulling at it, and the whole ball tightens up and comes with that one thread that's been pulled. So, part of our work is to start to see the gifts that each of our feelings might give us, to accept the feeling for its existence, and after having processed it, to move forward. So, if you consider something like anger, a lot of us don't like to feel angry, and so we try and push down that feeling. Um, but the reality is that for many of us, anger can serve as a way in which we can encounter our own strength. I describe it sometimes as feeling a fire in my belly. It gives me energy and motivation, particularly if there's something unjust that I've witnessed. Anger is what helps me to have that energy and motivation to move forward, to take a stand, to try and right the injustice. But if we keep on carrying that anger, if we allow it to build, if we deny it, if it comes with a whole ball of other angry feelings, it turns to rage. Similarly, fear can offer us information, wisdom, protection. When we're fearful, it's our mind, our body trying to keep us safe. And it's important to learn that sometimes, to acknowledge it, to listen to it. Our guts very infrequently lie to us. It might be that we're encountering a situation that brings to mind a situation that was similar in the past that didn't go well, and our body is trying to help us to avoid that situation again. However, if we carry or deny this fear, then we might start to feel fearful in many situations, not just the ones that are true. We become more paranoid, or it might send us into a panic. Pain offers us a time where we can seek healing and growth. However, if we carry it or deny it, we might find ourselves depressed or hopeless. Loneliness offers us the opportunity to reach out to others, to find that community, or maybe it requires us to reach in and to become okay with being around ourselves, to deepen that relationship we have with the self. However, if we carry that loneliness, that we deny that it exists, we might find ourselves more isolated or helpless. Shame helps us to connect with our humility and our humanity. It lets us see that we don't always have it right. And it reminds us that there can be compassion for others when they don't always have it right as well. But if we let that shame eat at us, we might start to sense that we are worthless, that we're no good, instead of seeing that we are just a broken part of this wider humanity. With guilt, it helps us to have a check on what our values are. We don't feel guilty if we don't feel like we violated something of a value. It also offers us the opportunity to make amends with someone else, to seek their forgiveness. However, if we carry that guilt, if we settle in, it can start to immobilize us, um, to paralyze us, to make us think that there's no way out. Joy, too, has a gift which is probably easier for many of us to tap into: hope, healing, spirituality. But sometimes we feel that we are not privy to joy. Maybe a loved one has passed away and we're grieving. And so we try and repress that joy. Maybe for some reason we feel this immense amount of shame. And so when we feel joy, we try and push it down because we don't think we're worthy of it. But even joy has a flip side, a dark side. It can lead to hysteria, to mania. So, as you can see, all of our emotions serve a purpose. They can show us something, they can help us to move towards something better. But real damage can be done to ourselves and to others if we carry or deny those feelings. This is one of my favorite tools, and we'll put a link to this in the description. This is called a feelings wheel. And it helps us to bring words to what our feelings are. I don't know about you, but oftentimes if someone asks me how I'm feeling, I'll respond with, I'm fine or I'm okay. But that's not really a feeling. So this wheel helps us to kind of tap into some of the nuances of our feelings. And essentially, they distill down to 7 main feelings: feeling bad, feeling fearful, feeling angry, feeling disgusted, feeling sad, happy, or surprised. And so everything kind of in that orange sliver is a way of describing fear. Everything that you find within that yellow sliver is a different nuanced way of describing that you're happy. So next time you feel a feeling and you're having a difficult time putting a word to what's going on inside of you, you might look at this wheel and you can either start toward the outside or toward the inside to help you understand what the association is between whatever you're feeling and the root of that feeling. So as you're trying to Feel your feelings more. Well, let me say this first. Oftentimes, our body will understand a feeling before we make sense of it in our head. So if I were walking through the woods and I see a bear in the distance, I'll notice my heart starts to pound and I'm short of breath and I start to sweat. And after all of those things happen in an instant, I'll realize, oh, I'm scared. So a part of our work in discerning and better understanding what our feelings are is to go through a process to help us to both feel it and to know where that feeling lives in our bodies, and then to understand mentally what that feeling is. So the first step is sensing, to notice in your body that you're having an emotion or feeling. And I would say for a lot of us, you might want to focus on kind of the belly, your gut, your heart, your throat, and your head. But I've certainly had conversations with people where they told me when they feel scared, they feel it in their knees, like their knees go weak or they're ready to run. So, figuring out for you where you feel your feelings can be really helpful. And then, after you feel that sensation in the body, the second step is to name it, to choose an accurate name for that feeling or emotion. And you might reference the feelings wheel for that. And then our third step is attributing, to figure out what made us feel the way that we feel. And to realize that just because we have a particular response to a set of circumstances doesn't mean that someone else would feel the same way when that thing happens. No one can make us feel a particular way, but we can notice that our response to a particular situation invokes a specific feeling. The fourth step is to evaluate, to check in about how you're feeling about having that emotion. Do you want to resist having that feeling? Are you relieved that you're feeling that feeling? Is there any sense of judgment about it? Or are you able to accept that that's where you are? And then the fifth step is to act, to decide how you want to respond with that emotion or feeling. What do you need to do to cope? Is it something that can propel you, that you can use to take another action? How do you want to deal with that emotion or feeling? Working through these 5 steps will take time, but it's really good work to do, and it will help you to start to become less reactive when a feeling comes up. But remember, this is a process. It won't happen the first or second time that you experience a strong feeling. But the more you practice these 5 steps, the easier it will be for you to process what you're feeling and to choose how you can respond with integrity that aligns with your values. Thank y'all so much for hopping by and sharing in this Solidarity Snack Time. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.